All right. Happy Wednesday. Happy last day of May at the time of this recording. It's the end of the month already. I can't believe it. Where did May go? I thought I would come in today and do a what I call a Wisdom Wednesday monologue. Healthy and Wealthy and Wise is all about helping you be inspired to live your best health, your best wealth, your best wisdom. And a lot of times we get these lessons in life, and it usually comes through the school of hard knocks and some painful events or realizations. And I have had that in spades over the past couple of years. And one of the biggest core connections that I wanted to share today was about the art of receiving. So, in this world of consumerism and just so much doing, oftentimes it's easy for us to forget that there's a sacred reciprocity in this universe of giving and receiving. There's a quote that really hit home for me that receiving is giving. There was times in my life where I had to unfortunately learn the hard way because I was very, very driven to do. I had become what Zig Ziglar called a human doing instead of a human being. So I wanted to talk today about some of my symptoms that I uncovered, also what I'm helping work with my clients now more and more and more, because so many of us are caught up in the doingness of life. And it can really cause a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of challenges when we are over giving and forgetting about the importance of receiving. And so, what were some of those symptoms for me? Um, I was over giving. So I started to burn out. I started to struggle with balance in my life. I do believe there is such a thing as balance. I know some people don't like that word. When I talk about balance, I'm talking about giving and receiving, the feminine and the masculine energy. I also had challenges celebrating when I did make a sale, or if I did receive a compliment, or I did receive a beautiful gift. I was usually pretty shut down. It was hard for me to receive compliments. It was hard for me to receive money and celebrate. It was hard for me to receive awards and actually receive it in my heart. Receiving is a feminine energy. It's being open and receptive. It's a nourishing. Receiving is a nourishing energy. And so if you look at a cup, you know, and you don't receive liquid in the cup, you have an empty cup, right? And if you have liquid in the cup and then you give, but you don't receive, you can go thirsty. You can literally you could die if you don't understand the beauty that we have as humans to have that feminine energy and that openness to receive. So how did that also manifest in my life? I was very in the doing. I was very in the masculine and logic, analytics, numbers. I also at times really had out of balance in giving in relationships. I've shared a lot of this on my podcast. So I would overgive, and then I would feel alone. I would feel isolated. I would feel not enough. Then what that would cause is I'd get defensive. I'd get angry. I would then I would overdo more to kind of fill myself up. I would do more, which is not the healthy way. I would work more, I would drink more alcohol. I would come from this deep sense of not enoughness because my cup was empty. And because of different wounds and trauma responses that I won't talk about today because I've been talking a lot about those recently, I would then gain weight, right? I would plow through my day. If you can see me on my screen now, I have this delicious early, we'll call it early lunch. and I'm not going to eat it in front of you right now. But when I'm done with this podcast, I have it blocked in my schedule to nourish myself and receive the food, celebrate food going into my body. Before, I would just eat or drink really, really fast and go on to the next meeting, go on to the next thing, and just really, again, be in constant go, 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 do, push, push, push. So as a result of that, I gained nearly 40 pounds. I would actually feel guilt at times around taking time off, going out in nature. I would feel guilt for, going away and leaving my family to nurture myself. All of these emotions, shame, guilt, and then fear. I got stuck in a loop and again believed the lie that I had to overgive and that someday, just magically, I would be in this balance, this freedom of time and money and all of this kind of stuff, which is really coming from a place of deep scarcity and deep lack. If you're always in that masculine dominant energy side of the brain and the doing. So, what have I done over the past couple of years to really start to soften into the feminine energy of receiving? And then I'm going to leave you with a bit of homework and a challenge for you to ask yourself, how can you learn to receive more? Okay, so here's some quick tips on how to be in more of a receiving state. Number one, I got to choose to create more spaciousness in my life, turning off my phone computer at a certain time of day, having time to meditate, having time to go out and do walks in nature and stop and smell the roses, having time with my children and actually being present instead of what I had been doing, which was multitasking, and being open to receiving their love, holding their little faces and looking at them in the eyes and receiving. Actually, giving is receiving, receiving is giving, right? So filling my cup, being open and vulnerable, having really, really sometimes challenging, scary carefrontations with my partner. I also got to receive by speaking my truth, being seen, being heard, and receiving the listening of someone I cared about. That's also another way that you can receive. I also received by taking time off, taking little trips on my own, working through the guilt and the shame of that, but then really just shutting out the world and being in the retreat or being in the ceremony or being in the healing and just really enjoying and receiving that. There was times where I'd be in the middle of an acupuncture appointment back in the day and I would be like receiving phone calls. Crazy, I know. I wasn't really present in my heart space. I was really, really shut down for receiving and refilling my cup. I also learned how to fill myself with other forms of abundance versus money and seeing like that as my measuring stick, right? But just really receiving whatever the universe presented itself to me instead of forcing, instead of pushing, instead of doing, just really being grateful and shifting that perspective more into the feminine energy, that love, that compassion, that nourishing, that creativity. I started to dance and sing and play, allowing my body to receive different types of creative energies. And I started practicing receiving compliments and actually receiving them and holding them, saying thank you. and being more and more open to just receiving whatever comes my way with less and less guilt, less and less shame. And as a result of that, what happened was my emotions, oftentimes the negative ones, they were able to come up and be seen and be heard so I could receive them instead of drinking over them, pushing them down, staying busy. I was able to then also receive more messages from my higher self. Again, it all started with being open and realizing first that I was coming way too much from a masculine doing, giving, pushing, and just first of all being open. So that's my homework for you. Now that I've given you hopefully some things to chew on, some things to sit with, is how can you practice the art of receiving? How can you maybe just get 1% better in receiving a compliment? How can you maybe get 1% better in receiving some nourishment, maybe slowing down and eating your food slowly, just actually thinking about it as it goes down your throat and into your stomach and receiving the nourishment. A lot of people have digestive issues, which then lead to autoimmune disease issues because they're not really grateful in that art of receiving even just your food or your drink. Maybe you can be open to receive by slowing down just a little bit more, stopping and smelling the roses, going out and taking a break, a walk in nature and receiving the beautiful sunshine or the beautiful wind or the beautiful smells, the noises, all of that, and just being more present. And receiving, when you receive this, a sale, if you're in business, or when you receive your paycheck from work, receiving it with gratitude, receiving it with happiness, joy, even if it's just for a few moments. Maybe you don't love your job, right? And I can almost guarantee that as you build this muscle of receiving, the cortisol levels will start to drop. You'll start to digest better. You'll feel more rested. You'll sleep better. I think a lot of times people with sleep issues is because, our cortisol levels are up. We're in doing mode as opposed to receiving mode. And then you carry extra physical weight, stress, all of that kind of stuff. So that's my homework for you guys today, is to really just sit with asking yourself, do I struggle with receiving? If I do, how is it showing up in my life? And my last guidance for you is to just tap more into that feminine energy, the creative energy. If you love to sing, sing. If you love to dance, dance. If you love to paint, paint. If you love to write, write. If you love to crochet, crochet. That's also an ability to start building that receiving muscle deeper and just being in the moment, soaking in that moment, softening more into your heart in that moment with gratitude, love, and compassion, and also with your partners, with your relationships, with your friendships. Um, Giving that compliment and receiving the thank you if they're open to saying thank you, and really receiving it in your heart and connecting with that person, heart to heart, face to face, eye to eyeball, belly to belly, if that applies, and just relishing in that deliciousness. Because if we struggle with receiving, I can guarantee you it's impacting your relationships, it's impacting your health, it's impacting your wealth. So if this resonated with you, please hit the share button. Sharing is caring. If you know someone who's really struggling with the receiving, and if you have any questions about this, I also am going to be having this be a part of my 4-week ayahuasca microdosing program. I'm also offering up one-on-one mentorship around how to balance the feminine and the masculine parts of yourself, the brain, starting there. but then embodying that balance. How do you embody the giving and the receiving, that sacred reciprocity that we get to enjoy as humans? And if you want to join me on my journey of this 4-week program, it starts this June, this coming month. Tomorrow's June 1st. I have an early bird discount that expires tomorrow, June 1st. And we're going to be working with ayahuasca because she is a feminine medicine. She's a beautiful, beautiful feminine medicine that I've been working with now for not a little over a year. And she has helped me soften faster, better, stronger into the feminine. She's helped me receive some messages that were so sacred and so profound that now I'm making shifts in my life. I've let go of more of that masculine dominant lack, scarcity, not enough wound. I've been able to be more present for my children, even more present than I already was, just in the past couple months. So if this resonates with you and you are feeling called to check out plant medicine, please go to my link, microdosingforhealth.now.site. I'll also put more information in the show notes about the program. You can sign up through June 10th. Early bird discount, however, expires tomorrow night, June 1st. So if you want to save $50, be a part of this amazing group program with weekly calls, breath work, meditation, teaching you how to balance that feminine and masculine energy within so that you can be more present, you can be healthier, you can build a better relationship with money, wealth, and relationships in general. And I really believe a lot of it starts with that balancing of the feminine energy because we've all been way too masculine for way, 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 way too long. I've seen it and I've lived it and I've worked through a lot of it. I'm still on this journey with you. So again, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is a Wisdom Wednesday monologue about the art of receiving and that sacred reciprocity and that balance of the feminine and the masculine energies inside of you. If you're ready to receive more abundance, receive more love, receive more joy, receive more income, more money, more deep, juicy relationships, I hope you can join me. And if nothing else, until next time, here's to your best health, your best wealth, and your best wisdom.